There are moments when life feels like a thunderstorm that refuses to end, dark, heavy, and unrelenting. But I want you to know tonight, storms don't last forever. The same sky that once roared with thunder will one day shine with light again. You might be standing in the middle of chaos, but even chaos has an expiration date. God never allows a season without an ending. The rain you see today will one day nourish the ground that carries your tomorrow. So hold on. Don't let the storm convince you it has the final word. It's just passing through. Every tear, every disappointment, every lonely night has a purpose hidden within it. You see, pain is not punishment, it's preparation. It softens the heart, sharpens the focus, and awakens something deep inside that comfort could never reach. When you look back one day, you'll realize that what broke you actually built you. Don't rush the process. Don't curse the pain. Embrace it as the fire that refines your gold. Nothing that happens to you is wasted. Every scar is a testimony, every trial a seed for something divine. Oh, how hard it is to wait when nothing seems to move, when you pray and heaven feels silent. When doors don't open and answers don't come, those are the moments that test what you truly believe. Waiting is not weakness, it's worship. It's saying, I still trust you even when I can't trace you. And when faith stands still in the middle of uncertainty, that's where real power is born. The waiting season is not a delay, it's divine training. You're not being ignored. You're being prepared for something that requires stronger faith than you've ever known. There is a sacred peace that comes when you finally stop trying to control everything. When you say, God, I can't fix it, but I trust you to. That's when heaven moves. Peace doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from resting in the one who does. Letting go is not losing, it's winning in silence. Because when you release what you can't handle, you make space for grace to take over. There's nothing more powerful than a heart that has surrendered. That's where joy lives. That's where freedom begins. So don't stress. Everything you see right now is temporary. The pain, the confusion, the uncertainty, they're all passing through. What's eternal is your faith, your hope, your love, your trust in the unseen hand that holds tomorrow. Sometimes life strips away what we thought we needed to reveal what truly matters. When you feel overwhelmed, remember, the same God who held you yesterday is still holding you now. Seasons change, storms fade, but His promise never does. Everything you're facing is only for a moment, but what it's producing in you will last forever. There are seasons when the world feels heavy, when every breath seems to fight against the wind, and every step forward feels like a struggle. You look around and wonder if the sun will ever rise again. The storm roars louder than your prayers, the thunder drowns out your faith, and you find yourself questioning if God even hears you anymore. But deep within that silence, there's a whisper, soft, gentle, unshaken, reminding you that the storm is never forever. It may rage for a night, it may howl for a season, but it cannot outlast the one who commands it to be still. There is something sacred about storms. They expose what sunshine hides. They strip away illusions and reveal what's real. In the calm, you think you have control. In the storm, you realize you never did. The winds come not to destroy you, but to remind you that you're held by something stronger than the chaos around you. Every storm has a purpose, and though it doesn't feel like it, it's working something deep inside you that fair weather never could. You may not see it yet, but the very thing you're fighting is forming strength, clarity, and surrender within your soul. It's easy to trust when the sky is clear and everything is in order. But real faith is forged when the sky turns dark and you can't see a single star. That's when faith stops being a word and becomes a choice. The storm tests the roots of what you truly believe. It asks, will you still trust when nothing makes sense? Will you still believe when the outcome isn't visible? That's the moment your faith shifts from theory to power. Because the same God who allowed the storm is the one who will carry you through it. And when He speaks, even the winds obey. Sometimes we think peace means the absence of storms, but true peace is found in the middle of them. It's the calm in your spirit that says, even if the waves keep rising, I know who's in my boat. You might not be able to calm the sea, but you can rest in the promise that you won't sink. The storm may be fierce, but it's not final. It may shake you, but it cannot destroy you. Because your foundation was never built on feelings, it was built on faith. You see, storms are temporary by design. They're meant to pass, not to stay. No storm ever lasted forever. The clouds that look endless will one day drift away. The rain that falls so hard will eventually stop. Even the fiercest winds lose their breath. It's only a matter of time before the same sky that terrified you becomes the sky that testifies of your endurance. One day, you'll stand in the sunlight again and realize that what felt like the end was actually the beginning of something new inside you. But while you're in the storm, don't waste it. Don't let it make you bitter. Let it make you deeper. Don't let it harden your heart. Let it humble it. There's revelation in the rain, wisdom in the waiting, and beauty in the breaking. The storm might take things away from you, relationships, plans, certainty, but it will never take away what's meant for you. In fact, sometimes God allows storms to clear your path, to remove what couldn't travel with you to the next season. He doesn't let the wind blow without purpose. So if it feels like everything is falling apart, remember it's only temporary. The pain won't last. The fear will fade. The confusion will pass. You're not being punished. You're being prepared. And when it's over, you'll see that the storm didn't break you, it built you. It taught you to stand, to trust, to pray, to believe again. It stripped you of everything you depended on so you could discover the one you can't live without. When the night feels too long, lift your eyes. The morning is already on its way. The same God who created the storm has also written its ending. You are not forgotten in the chaos. You are carried through it. And when the final drop of rain falls, when the last cloud clears, you'll see that nothing was wasted. The storm was never meant to destroy you. It was sent to reveal what's indestructible within you. So hold on a little longer. Keep believing. Keep standing. The storm is not forever. One day you'll look back and say, it was hard, but it was holy. It was painful, but it was purposeful. Because even when you didn't see it, even when you didn't feel it, God was working in the wind. And when he finally says, peace, be still, you'll realize the storm was never your enemy. It was the classroom where faith was born and where the strength of your soul learned to rise above the waves. Pain has a way of entering quietly and settling deeply. It doesn't ask for permission, and it rarely gives warning. It comes in the form of loss, betrayal, delay, disappointment, or heartbreak, and it shakes the very foundation you thought was unmovable. It makes you question everything you once believed. Your plans, your strength, even your faith. But what if pain was never sent to destroy you? What if, hidden beneath its ache, there is divine intention? Something sacred, something shaping, something that can only be birthed through the fire of suffering. Because the truth is, pain is not punishment. Pain is a teacher, a refiner, a holy sculptor that molds you into who you were meant to become. There are things comfort will never teach you. You don't grow roots in the sunshine. You grow them in the storm. When everything is easy, you stay shallow. But when pain visits, you begin to dig deeper, searching for meaning, searching for strength, searching for God. It's in that desperate search that purpose begins to unfold. You start to realize that what once felt like loss was actually a seed being planted in the soil of your soul. And though it hurts, that seed is destined to bloom. Every tear you've cried has been watering something you can't yet see. Every sleepless night has been preparing the ground for a harvest you don't yet understand. There's a kind of beauty that only brokenness can reveal. When everything is stripped away, when you have nothing left to prove, and no strength left to pretend, that's when authenticity rises. Pain has a way of purifying your motives. It burns away pride, exposes illusions, and leaves only what's real. It teaches you empathy because once you've suffered, you recognize the suffering in others. You begin to love differently, speak differently, pray differently. You stop chasing perfection and start valuing presence. That's what pain does. It doesn't just change your situation. It changes your heart. There will be moments when you'll look up and ask, "Why me?" And heaven will answer, "Because there's something inside you that can only be revealed through this." Some purposes are too powerful to be born in comfort. They require pressure, heat, and surrender. The olive must be crushed to release oil. The grape must be pressed to produce wine. The gold must face fire to shine. In the same way, you must walk through pain to uncover the anointing and strength that were hidden inside you all along. What you think is breaking you is actually blessing you in disguise. It's not the end. It's the making of something eternal. There's no shortcut to purpose. You can't pray pain away when it's the very thing shaping your destiny. Sometimes the most powerful prayers aren't the ones that say, "Take it away," but the ones that whisper, "Use it." Because when you let God use your pain, it becomes holy. Your wounds become testimonies. Your scars become maps that guide others through their own darkness. You stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and begin to say, "Thank you for trusting me with this." Because only those who have walked through the valley can speak life to others still standing in the shadows. The pain you're in today will one day make sense. You'll see how every moment was connected, how every delay was protection, and how every heartbreak was direction. You'll look back and realize that what once felt unbearable was actually building endurance inside you. You didn't know it then, but you were being trained to carry greater things. Purpose doesn't come to the comfortable, it comes to the crushed. Because only those who've been emptied can truly be filled. You are not defined by your pain, you are refined by it. It may have taken something from you, but it's also giving something back. A depth of faith, a gentleness of spirit, a strength that cannot be faked. When you walk through pain and still choose love, still choose faith, still choose gratitude, you become unstoppable. You realize that even in loss, you've gained something priceless, the knowledge that God wastes nothing. Every heartbreak becomes holy ground when you let it draw you closer to Him. So, don't despise the pain. Don't curse the fire. Let it work in you what comfort never could. Because the day will come when you'll stand on the other side and understand that the pain didn't just pass. It produced something. It produced compassion, resilience, wisdom, faith, and power. It produced the version of you that could finally carry the calling you were created for. Pain is temporary, but purpose is eternal. One day what made you cry will make you shine. What once felt like the end will be the very place where your story truly began. And you'll see that it was never wasted, never random, never meaningless. It was all part of the beautiful, painful, divine process of becoming who you were always meant to be. Waiting is one of the hardest things a human heart can do. It feels like standing in a hallway full of closed doors, hearing nothing but the echo of your own prayers. You look to heaven and ask, "When, God? How long?" And sometimes there is no answer, no sign, no movement, no confirmation, just silence. Yet in that silence, something holy is happening. Waiting is not a waste of time, it's a workshop of trust. It's the sacred ground where faith matures, where your dependence shifts from outcomes to the one who holds them. Because the truth is, faith isn't proven when everything moves quickly. It's proven when nothing moves at all and you still believe. In the waiting, God does something deep that can't be rushed. He refines your motives, purifies your desires, and strengthens your endurance. Waiting reveals what you truly trust. Anyone can praise when the answer arrives, but only real faith worships while the heavens are still silent. It's in that space between promise and fulfillment that your soul learns to rest, not because everything makes sense, but because you've learned who God is even when He seems quiet. Waiting teaches you that He's not just the God who opens doors. He's the God who walks with you in the hallway. Sometimes, you think the delay is a denial. You pray and nothing changes. You try and everything resists you. You feel forgotten. But heaven is still working behind the scenes. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. There are roots growing underground that will one day break through the surface. There are pieces being aligned that you don't even know exist. God is not slow, He is strategic. Every moment of waiting is preparing you for what you asked for, or something better. If He gave it to you too soon, it might crush you. But when you've been strengthened through waiting, you'll be ready to carry it with grace. The hardest part of waiting is that it feels invisible. You don't see progress, and your emotions begin to lie to you. Doubt whispers, maybe it's not meant to be. Fear says, you're being left behind. But faith answers softly, be still. God is not finished yet. You must hold on to that voice. Because waiting isn't a punishment. It's an invitation to trust deeper than you ever have. It's a sacred pause where God strips away your timelines and expectations so that when the blessing finally arrives, it won't become your idol. You'll know it was His hand that brought it, not your effort. There are seasons when God hides you on purpose. He hides you not because you're forgotten, but because you're being formed. The waiting season is the molding season. It's where character is built, pride is broken, and roots go deep. What looks like a delay is actually divine protection. He's shielding you from what you're not ready for, shaping you for what's coming, and teaching you to rely on His timing instead of your own. When you learn to wait well, you discover that faith is not about getting what you want. It's about becoming who you're meant to be while you wait. There's a peace that comes when you finally stop fighting the timing of God. When you surrender your schedule and say, Lord, even if it takes longer, I'll still trust you. That's when your spirit finds rest. You begin to understand that God's delays are not His denials, they're His preparation. What you call waiting might actually be heaven building a foundation that won't crumble when your blessing arrives. Because answered prayers without prepared hearts can destroy what was meant to bless. So He waits, not because He's cruel, but because He loves you too much to let you receive something you can't yet sustain. There's beauty in waiting that you'll only recognize afterward. One day, you'll look back and see how the waiting stretched your faith, humbled your heart, and deepened your relationship with God. You'll see how the silence taught you to listen, how the delay taught you to depend, and how the stillness birthed strength you never knew you had. Waiting is not wasted when it draws you closer to the one who never leaves. So if you're in a season where nothing seems to move, don't despair. You're not forgotten, you're being formed. Heaven hasn't gone silent. It's composing something beautiful. Every not yet is a promise that your story is still unfolding. Keep praying, keep believing, keep standing, because the waiting will end. And when it does, you'll understand why it took so long. You'll see that what God was doing in you was far greater than what you were waiting for. And when that moment comes, when the door finally opens, when the answer finally arrives, you'll realize the miracle wasn't just in what you received, but in who you became while you waited. There comes a point in every journey where you have to open your hands and release what you've been holding onto so tightly. It's not easy. We like to control outcomes, fix people, manage situations, and predict the future. We convince ourselves that if we just try harder, pray harder, hold tighter, everything will fall into place. But there comes a moment when you realize that peace doesn't come from holding on, it comes from letting go. True peace is not found in control. It's found in surrender. It's that quiet moment when you stop fighting for what isn't meant to stay, and you say, God, I trust you more than I trust myself. Letting go doesn't mean you've given up. It means you've grown wise enough to know what's not yours to carry anymore. There are people, plans, and seasons that serve their purpose, but now they're meant to be released. Holding on to what's expired only breeds frustration, anxiety, and pain. Some of the heaviness you feel isn't from what's happening around you. It's from the things you refuse to release. When you cling to what God is trying to remove, you delay your own healing. But when you finally open your hands, something miraculous happens. The weight begins to lift, and peace quietly takes its place. There's a divine strength hidden in surrender. The world tells you that control is power, but heaven whispers that peace is found in yielding. The moment you stop trying to manipulate the outcome is the moment God begins to move freely. He doesn't compete with your control. Sometimes He allows the situation to fall apart, not to punish you, but to help you see that His way is higher. His plan is better and His timing is perfect. You'll never experience the fullness of peace until you stop demanding that life unfold on your terms. The peace that lasts is the peace that trusts. Letting go is painful because it feels like loss. You may feel like something precious is being torn from your grasp. But what if it's not loss? What if it's transformation? What if God is simply replacing what was temporary with something eternal? The caterpillar must surrender its form before it becomes the butterfly. The seed must break before it can grow. In the same way, you must release the old version of yourself, the old expectations, the old plans, so the new can come forth. The beauty of surrender is that what feels like the end is usually the beginning of something better. Sometimes peace doesn't come with answers. It comes with acceptance. It's that holy stillness that whispers, I don't have to understand everything to trust that it's working for my good. You begin to see that peace isn't about everything being perfect. It's about knowing that even in imperfection, you're still held. You can rest because you're not the one holding the world together. He is. When you finally stop striving to make sense of everything, your heart finds the quiet space where faith breathes freely. There's a freedom that only surrender can give. When you let go, you're no longer bound by the outcome. You're anchored in the one who controls it. You stop trying to force doors open and start walking in the confidence that what's meant for you will find you. You stop chasing people who were never assigned to your journey and start trusting that the right ones will stay. You stop replaying the past and start resting in the grace of now. Peace enters like a gentle wind. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush. It simply settles into the space your striving once occupied. Letting go also means forgiving others, yourself, and even life for not going as you planned. Forgiveness is not about erasing what happened. It's about choosing not to let it poison your spirit anymore. When you release bitterness, you make room for healing. When you stop rehearsing old wounds, you give peace permission to grow. The moment you decide to stop carrying what hurt you, you start walking lighter. Peace isn't just the absence of conflict. It's the presence of grace. You were never created to live tense, anxious, and burdened. You were created to live in divine rest. That doesn't mean you stop caring. It means you stop controlling. It means you learn to breathe again, to trust again, to believe that even what's broken can still be beautiful in God's hands. Because every time you let go of something, He replaces it with something greater, deeper wisdom, purer faith, stronger love. So if your heart is weary, if your hands are tired from holding on too tightly, this is your moment to release. Let go of what you can't change. Let go of what no longer fits. Let go of the need to understand it all. Peace is waiting on the other side of surrender. And when you finally let go, you'll realize it was never about losing control. It was about finding the freedom that comes when you trust the one who's been in control all along. Assez du log video puri dekan, because this is not just a message, it's a divine reminder for your soul. Life will always bring moments that test your peace, moments that stretch your faith, moments that break your heart. But remember this, nothing you face is permanent. The storm will pass, the pain will serve its purpose, the waiting will end, and the peace will come. Every tear, every trial, every silence was shaping you for something greater than you imagined. Don't stress. Everything you see right now is temporary. What you're walking through today is preparing you for what's coming tomorrow. The same God who stood with you in the storm will reveal His glory in the calm. When you look back, you'll see that nothing was wasted. No moment, no heartbreak, no delay. It all worked together to make your spirit unshakable, so stand firm. Keep believing. Don't let the noise of life steal the voice of your faith. Let go of what you can't control and hold tightly to the one who controls it all. Because even when everything around you is changing, his promise never does. The peace you're searching for is already within reach. It's found in surrender, it's found in trust, it's found in letting go. And when the world looks at you and wonders how you're still standing, you'll smile. Not because life was easy, but because grace was greater. You'll know that every storm had an end, every pain had a purpose, and every waiting season was worth it. You'll know that the peace you carry is not from this world. It's from the one who calmed the storm and still whispers to your soul, "Be still."